to rat throwing. So rat throwing, of course, actually just means we're doing habituation, or we're going to do for habituation. So you see these animals have never been touched before. First we will take one cage where we don't have any, like take all the tubes out and everything. And what I start with is that I first pick up all cage mates. In this case, since there are 4 animals spread across 2 cages, we're going to mix 2 cages because they're fine anyways. First I take all 4 animals on top of me and I let's just go somewhere and you can just lean on it somewhere. And now the main trick is to wait, because they're all 4 together, so they're less stressed. And that's why you see they're actually already not frozen, they're already sniffing around and exploring. But the main thing is, since they're together, a little less, as I said, less afraid. And currently I'm doing in a way flooding, so that's why I put them on top of me. There's no way to escape me. But at the same time, they can now, once they get more comfortable, like for example this guy, they will start moving around by themselves. And so now I stay a bit like this until I make sure that I see that nobody is frozen on me anymore. Everybody is moving, because then I already know, and someone is trying to climb inside my lap coat. This, of course, you should also avoid because it gets very tickly. Sorry, rat inside lap coat. And then what I do next is I lean to the home cage so that the animals can now, by their own volition, jump back home. So that, and the next animal, no, it's not, he's still on the outside. So number 1, and then if I get impatient, I can kind of also shake them in. Number 2. And then see, they actually prefer me, so it's a good sign. They're not like, oh, I want to get away from that woman. They're actually having fun. And now, come on, put it on. And now let's guy here, cage. So this guy loves me too much, so I'm just going to put him in like this. And then now the actual rat throwing begins. So rat throwing, you just softly grab the animal and throw him to the end of the cage. And yeah, don't allow the animals to crawl out of the cage. You can go like this to get them to go to the front. And initially you see here already, he's already quite a good adventurous guy, because the main thing that will happen is that initially they will not necessarily come, but now he already comes right away straight back to the front because he actually enjoys this. So the idea is really that you just get them used to the idea of being picked up, because initially they may still be slightly unhappy about being picked up. But then after a while you want them to not flinch whatsoever, and by doing rat throwing is a great way, because then you can always test who is the animal that is super habituated, like this animal already now after 2 seconds, comes straight back to the beginning. And you will still see on day 1, like today, we're still going to have once in a while a squeak, but this will go very, very quickly away. So we now can just throw, and then sometimes if you're bored, you can think of card shuffling, and then you can just throw that. And the main thing, of course, that while you're still not being hectic, you're not trying to be fast, you're still calm, you keep talking so that the animals also get used to your voice. And you never squeeze the animal, but you kind of try to scoop him from the bottom, because rats do not like to be, if you go like this right away, they're not that big fans, because touching their belly makes you dominant. At the same time, never do a rat tail pickup, because they actually can rip off, so never ever do that. And then instead, as I said, the scooping is always the best. They may be initially still a bit like now, of course, he's still a bit scooped out by me doing it. But if you do this for now, let's say 3 days, each day you do roughly 10 to 20 minutes per cage, you will have, after 3-day, animals that just run like crazy towards you, because they actually really enjoy the rat throwing. And so another thing, so what other people do actually for the whole time, I do in the end, so I'll just put in my hands, and now the animals can explore my hands, and as you can see, the animals now already are not afraid of me whatsoever. They're already now climbing on my hands. And if I would have started this way, it would have not looked this way. So past this kind of passive idea that they can actively decide to approach you is also a good idea, but I would never start that way. It's a good thing to do in the end of the day, because now they are getting more rights. But as you see, even after just 5 minutes, they're actually already quite happy, especially this guy. He really just wants to climb on top. So now we're coming back to the second session. And so actually this is not really the second session, these animals are already quite habituated, but they don't know me at all. And to show you that the rat handling actually works quite well, you can see, so they don't know me at all. They're right away at the front, they're right away smelling me. I can pick them up without any type of struggle whatsoever, so there's no twitching or anything. And they're super fine because they're very well handled. So you can see that the handling procedure really works very well. And just to show you that they really like the radish throwing if you do it. I mean, now they're just generally excited. Okay, so they're not interested. They come to the front, and usually if I do this for a bit, yeah, you can see it already come right back to the front because it's fun for them to play. And so in general, what I would say for animals like this, so you can hopefully see that that in our case, the habituation makes them feel very comfortable. Now with rats, they don't climb, of course, onto your hands just because they're so big. But you can easily pick them up with a scoop without having to squeeze them whatsoever. And they're very interested in people and things. So in general, even when you're not handling an animal, so not running an animal, you should make sure that you handle them once in a while, because they're very social animals, so that they actually like being handled, and they will feel very unhappy if they only live bored in a cage without anything. And handling is more important than the cage enrichment, but you should also, as cage enrichment, always try to have, at least for half the animals, somewhere where they can retreat if they want to have a break from other animals.